Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to modify the lame trim list. So if you come in here, you'll see there's 14 cows in this list at the moment. In this case, this farm wants to exclude do not breed cows from the list. And they've also noticed that Cattle is catching all the cows that they already know is lame, but they want to get ahead of lameness earlier. So they want to reduce that default threshold of 60 a bit lower to catch cows earlier. So to modify this list, we go to settings and tags, and we're looking for lame trim required tag. So let's edit that. You click the three dots and then edit. So you can see this is how this tag is currently defined. So we're saying the cow must not be muted. She mustn't have the recently trimmed tag. She shouldn't be dry. And then she also has this high prob lame tag. Okay, so let's do it in two steps. So first of all, we want to exclude the do not breeds. So I'm going to take out the reproduction status not dry. I'll take that one out, and we're going to add it back in here into the not, because everything categorized in this group shouldn't be true. So we're going to say add a condition and reproduction status, and now we're going to use in because we're going to have two reproduction statuses in here. So I'm going to say in, and then we're looking for dry, so I want to put that back in, and then we're also going to add in do not breed. So where is that? Do not breed up at the top. So we're saying the cow shouldn't be muted, she shouldn't have the recently trimmed tag, she shouldn't have a dry or do not breed reproduction status, and then she also must have the high prob lame tag as it was before. So let's save this. Okay, so her has been tagged. So we go back to monitor, and you can see that list is now reduced. So it's now down to 10 instead of 14. And if you click in, you can see the do not breeds are now taken out. So let's now see how we can reduce that threshold to catch cows a little bit earlier. So if we go to settings, tags, we're going to create a new tag. Let's call this early intervention. Okay, so we're going to say that her average score should be greater than or equal to 50 in this case, so rather than 60. And we're also going to say, just similar to the high prob lame tag, we're going to say that she should have that confident score tag. So if you remember, that's the one that says she must be scored at least 4 times in the past week and within the past 2 days. It's just useful to use that one anytime you're using the 1 week average. So we're going to save that. Again, it's going to take a while to apply that tag. And then if you go to back to lame trim required, now we're going to take out this one because this is saying all of this must be true. So just to actually make that a bit clearer, let's add in a new group, and we're going to make this group or. So either any of the conditions I add in this or group can be true, but they don't all have to be true, if that makes sense. So we're going to say tags contains early intervention. So if I just left it like this, what would happen is it would say everything in this outer group is and, so it all must be true. So you're saying the cow can't be muted, she shouldn't have the recently trimmed tag, she shouldn't be dry or do not breed, she must have the high prob lame tag, and she must have the early intervention tag. So it's saying she has to be early intervention and high prob lame, which isn't what you want. So I'm going to take this high prob lame tag out of here, and we're going to put it into the or group. So we're going to say tags contains, where is it? High prob lame. So we're saying the cow shouldn't be muted, she shouldn't have the recently trimmed tag, she shouldn't be dry or do not breed, and she should either have the early intervention tag or the high prob lame tag. Okay, so we're going to save that. We'll wait for that to update. We'll go to monitor. Okay, so you can see there's a lot more cows in this list now, 74. If we look at the top cow and hover over the tags, see she's got the lame trim required tag, obviously, because she's on this list. she also has the early intervention tag, but she has the high problem tag as well. So actually that kind of doesn't make sense. She shouldn't be high problem and early intervention. Let's just go back to settings just to make this a bit clearer. So let's edit the early intervention tag and say to be classified as early intervention, she shouldn't have, sorry, it's a group. We're going to say not. We're going to say she shouldn't have the high problem tag, because we're saying she can't be high problem and early intervention, if that makes sense. So I'll just make it a bit clearer whenever you're looking at the cows. So let's save that one. Okay, go back to monitor. So you can see there's still 74 cows in the list. But if we go to the top one, you see she only has the high problem tag. She doesn't have the early intervention. And if you go down to the bottom, because this is sorted by average score, you'll see some cows on here that wouldn't have been in that original list. So she doesn't have the high problem tag, if you look through them, but she does have that early intervention tag. So I hope that makes sense. Now, it might be that today you're trimming and you only want to tackle the early intervention cows, or you only want to tackle the high problem. So you can come into this list as normal, and then you can do a quick filter. So you can say, let's filter to only have let's say we only want the high problem ones today. So you click that tag, and then you'll see we're just back down to the original 10. So you can do it that way. The other thing we can do, if you're always switching between lists and some days you use the high problem one, sometimes use the early intervention, if you reach out to us, we can create a separate widget for each tag so that it's really easy to come in here. You could have one list for the high problem, another one for the early intervention. So reach out if that's something that you would like as well.